Hey everybody, this is a series of hip work at the wall that I love to do. It really helps strengthen one-legged postures as well as hip flexors. We'll find some hamstring stuff, lots of things. So first things first, make sure you have a block. If you don't have a block, you can still do this work. But we'll go ahead and start. I'm gonna need to fix the screen so I can see. There we go. All right, we got it now. So one of the things I like to do is use the block so that I can get a lot of proprioception. So I can really feel extra work and awareness. So all I did was I placed the block against the wall and I'm pressing, for example, right now, right knee into the wall for making sure that I can actually feel it. What's kind of neat, we know when we're in low postures or leg postures, like right now I'm in Warrior Two stance. The idea is that I'm still reaching from the pelvis outward and pressing the block into the wall. I don't have to push it super hard, but I'm actually feeling a lot more of the femur head coming back into the hip joint. And actually, for me, that really feels good because I can also, in this moment, still work the inner line. So I'm still lifting through the groin, that same muscular engagement you would use to stop yourself from going to the bathroom midstream, that one. And if you want, you could even take it into the awareness of what you would do with Warrior Two arms. But my work right now, what feels best in my body right now is to really work my feet and then really fire up the quads, pulling up again through Mula Bandha. And if you're new to yoga, Mula Bandha is the lift of the muscles that you would use to stop yourself from going to the bathroom midstream, those. And so then you're still lifting, you're getting long through the side body. Be mindful that you don't dump. So I really over-exaggerated it there. Tuck the tail under, reaching across the collarbones, across the chest. You can extend out through the hands if you want to. And then even try the postures that you're used to trying, maybe like a side angle, extending out through the length of that whole left side of the body and reaching long through the spine. So nice and strong, and breath super important here. But I really love using the block because it gives me that extra awareness of proprioception, of feeling where my body is in space and getting information back into the body and into the brain ultimately, which right now, as we are all, I'm in Florida, so people are coming out of lockdown safely, unsafely, however you feel about it. It's new, and it's still the intensity of caseloads and people being ill. Nobody wants that for anyone. But there's all of this intensity happening in life around us. So gathering as much information from our own experience, I feel is really, really important. And then another element that we can do is working at the wall, is maybe doing something like hip stretch at the wall or quad stretch at the wall. And again, I need to bring the camera down. And there's kind of a lot of light. Oh, that might be better. There we go. Good. And the snoring in the background is a dog friend of mine. So best thing to do is start by kneeling near the wall as close as you can. If you don't have a Ganesha to balance on, that's fine. You can take your left leg forward and then gently slide your foot up the wall and just slide it a little bit more. And then roll it up. So if you have extra padding or you want to add something into underneath your knee, that will really, really help. I like to have a block here in case it's a really tight day. And today's somewhat tight day. So just kind of noticing here, trying to keep everything nice and parallel and really lifting, still always lifting through the groin. We're working out along through that quad, getting a lot of work there. And again, always trying to find balance. So I can feel it deeply in my quad. My breathing isn't as
proficient right now, obviously, because I'm talking, but maybe I can slide back a tiny bit. I can definitely feel where my tension habits are holding. So definitely in the belly and in the jaw. So maybe shake those out. And people who have more open pelvises or hips or quads could actually get their pelvis back against the wall. I could push a little more, but I'm not going to. Doesn't feel like I need to. And then there's loads of things that you can do here. You can come down again into that left hip. What's interesting here is when you come forward, you can actually create, just like we did with the block, you can create proprioception by gently pressing back into your shin. So I'm kind of pressing the top of my foot, right foot, into the wall. And what happens is that really talks to the hip flexor and the upper part of my quad. I also had gotten lazy. I don't know if you caught that. My left leg was kind of flapping out or fainting out in the intensity. So a lot of breath here. Just finding any spots, any tensions, any holdings, which sometimes by saying any seems like it kind of downplays it. There's a lot. You could also turn the left foot out a little bit more and get a bit deeper into that hip. Or one of my favorites is wiggling that foot across and coming into pigeon. So I like this one, doing it against the wall, because my right hip can't cheat. I talk about that a lot and notice that a lot in my body when I'm practicing, how body's just brilliant. And it'll give you a lot of ways, or it will try a lot of ways to cheat and find the easiest way into the posture or the path of least resistance. And that's really, really brilliant. But in the grand scheme of finding balance and being safe in the body, we want to be really, really careful when we do postures that we're not riding in our flexibility, or some people who ride in their strength, or riding in balance. Like, the idea is that we're trying to balance all three of those together in our practice, as well as being in an uncomfortable position, literally, and being peaceful in the mind. And that's always a big piece. So there's a couple more things you could do here. You could lay down over that left glute, which I will say probably a good hamstring flow prior. There's a video earlier in the list here of a hamstring flow, which would be a nice thing to do to do before this particular video and get some work there. If you're working into some of the Kapotasana postures, you could work towards those here and really make sure that you're not wearing your shoulders like earrings. Really draw the lower rib, the lower parts of the shoulder blades down, and really lift up through the groin. It's a nice way to practice that. And you could continue from there, just being nice to the neck. And then coming out of this is always dynamic. I like to turn back towards the leg that's on the wall, and that gives you the ability to unravel a little bit more gently than not. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.